Good morning, everybody. It is Monday, the 27th. It's a little bit of a rainy day today. They're calling for heavy rain throughout the day. So it's going to be an interesting day. That, in fact, I go back to work today, so that's going to be even more interesting because it's also the first day back of my supervisor. So, yeah, today might be a bit of a crazy day. Of course, Mondays are usually crazy at working out because it's also delivery day, the day the truck is delivered. So, excuse me, my eye has been a little itchy this morning. So it's going to be interesting to see how work's going to be. Um, as for everything else, seems to be hunky dory. Um, Surprisingly enough, even with the rain and whatnot, my allergies are kind of bugging me. That in fact are I opted, I should say, for using a cool mist vaporizer just to put moisture in the air. But I guess it didn't do a good enough job because Dre- Diane had woken up earlier in the day or morning, and I told her to go ahead and go back to sleep when my alarm went off at 10:30 for me to get up and start my routine. But she couldn't go back to sleep because she was having breathing issues. I guess because the room sometimes gets a little stuffy, she has some breathing issues. So that might have been part of my problem for waking up a little icky feeling. Of course, a lot of times when I get into a deep sleep, I don't notice my environment unless I'm too hot or too cold. That's when I wake up with either the chills or kicking off covers. Sorry, I'm a little foggy brain this morning, and I don't know if that's because I probably didn't sleep well and didn't realize it until just now. Like I said, a lot of times I don't. A lot of times when I fall asleep and I'm in a good sleep or a deep sleep, not even a good. It doesn't always have to be a good sleep, just a deep sleep. I don't notice my environment that much. Um, it's kind of a good thing and kind of a bad thing because the fact you're asleep and you're not really like your brain doesn't think you're having problems, but in a bad way it's also the same thing. Your brain doesn't realize you're having problems or doesn't realize the body's in distress until you wake up because it's not in a, I guess, life-threatening distress or whatever, temperature distress. Sorry, I'm having some cold foot problems, so I'm trying to warm them up. You didn't need to know that, but that's why I'm face planting my camera. But all that aside, um, I've been getting messages through damn allergies, messages through Facebook and friends, friends and family. I have a friend that lives down in Texas. Um, if you've ever been on our live stream, you know Lisa. Um, I forgot what her screen name is on YouTube, but Lisa's eldest daughter, who also lives in Texas. In fact, Lisa and all her kids live in Texas and grandkids now. Um, and the eldest daughter has to go. It's basically she's been basically cooped up for 36 days at her home, And today, and she's been working from home. She's been working on a computer from home, but today was her official first day back to work. So, um, yeah, but they still have to. If they have to go, if the company is basically telling them they have to come back to work, um, they have to wear masks for 30 more days. So I'm like, well, at least your people or your, whether it's the company or the state mandated it, at least they're trying to keep you safe during the fact that COVID is still a active virus here in the states. And I have two minds about the whole trying to get back, trying to get the country back on its feet economically and opening up businesses and whatnot. Um, I understand why they want to do that because it's for the economic value. Um, I'm just hoping that if they do, because there there are states like Michigan and Virginia, and I thought there was one more state on my list, but those two I know about because I've been seeing a lot of it on news. Is I'm sorry. The people want to open the states back up or want to get things back up and running, and the governors are basically reluctant to do that because CDC has basically not given the all clear signal. They basically have said that if you're going to have your people going to work, or if your state is still in the high zone or the red zone, um, it's up to you what to do. I'm of two minds of it because it's like here in Missouri, they haven't mandated wearing masks. Some of the companies have basically required you to wear masks or asked you to wear masks or supplied the masks. Um, so it's kind of like one of those things where, one, the president and the CDC has given each individual state um, ruling over what to do about the COVID virus. A lot of the smart ones are listening to the CDC and going, okay, my state is in the red zone because we're still having high casualty rates and hospitalizations. Um, so it's kind of like one of those. If the state wants to basically get its um, its economics going again, to um, allow the companies to make decisions or allow the states to make decisions, and like here in Missouri, or I shouldn't say Missouri, but here in Rolla, um, we've had maybe two or three cases, no fatalities that I know of in Rolla. Um, One of our restaurants here in Rolla, Colton's, which is a very good steak place. Um, they're going to be opening, I think this week or next week. They're going to reopen their stores, but they're only allowing a certain number of customers. Um, the the employees will be wearing protective gear, masks, and gloves. Um, I we got Colton's takeout. Basically, we basically ordered, went and picked it up and brought it home, and they had a printed out sheet of paper basically explaining that they will be reopening soon. They're only allowing 6 people per table. They're basically only allowing X number of customers per business hours due to, they're trying to do the social distancing and keep to CDC recommendations basically, which is like, oh well, that's smart because at least they'll get business. I mean, they are currently getting business with takeout, but I guess takeout has not been a booming situation. But it's like that right there is smart. It's like if you're a restaurant with seating and whatnot, you can basically set up your restaurant where you keep tables X number of feet apart from each other and only allow X number of customers coming in, and provide or offer up basically um, sanitized napkins, and like Colton's has the buckets of peanuts. They can give you a fresh bucket every customer that comes in can get a fresh bucket instead of like a bucket that's been sitting there and having other people touch it. I was not going to drink today, but I kind of need that caffeine boost. And tea does not have a caffeine boost in my brain. It's great for waking up, but it's not the instant wake up I need. But so I mean, it's like if we adhere to the CDC's suggestions or policies or whatever you want to call it, and we do the smart thing with wearing the masks. And my store doesn't require me as the cashier to wear gloves, but I have, in fact, I've got to find that other bottle to take to work. I have a small bottle of Purell hand sanitizer, which is on high demand. So I carry that with me, and I use it often. And then I have a bucket of sanitizing water, which I switch out every 2 hours to make sure it's fresh sanitizer. And I go around my store every time I get a chance when it's not busy, and I wipe down every possible surface that a customer could be touching. Keypads, countertops, napkin dispensers, um, tea and coffee handle dispensers, the soda machine, the lid dispenser, the whole 9 yards. So, and that in fact that it's now I don't know if it was a CDC recommendation or the company just said, let's do this just to ensure. I even wiped down the bathroom door handles and the front door handles and the bathroom sinks and toilets. And, it's not nuts. I mean, yeah, it's a little like, oh my God, I have to do all this extra cleaning. But at the same time, it's like, this is smart. This is great because we are trying to do our best to ensure a clean, healthy environment for customers. Not just because of COVID, but because of the fact that we should have been doing this all along, just for the safety and health of everyone. So I mean I feel for those who are stuck at home. I also feel for those who have to go to work in this current situation. But if the companies decide, and this is a combination of the company's decision and the government's decision, but if the government decides to basically start opening up businesses and whatnot, I think they should have some sort of CDC mandated procedure. But I mean, looking across the oceans towards our brothers and sisters in different countries, um, some of those countries have the covert has ran its course and gone away. Some countries like the Netherlands, I get a newsletter from the Netherlands, and I get a newsletter from Ireland. Some of the European countries who are starting to go into the in process of the covert virus, and the watchdogs, the CDC watchdogs in those countries are saying, okay, you can start doing this, and this because the virus is no longer active. And I know, like in the Netherlands, according to the newsletter, that they're starting to open up like kindergartens, trying to get kids to go back to school for another month and a half. Um, Ireland, I think they're starting to slowly open up schools and businesses. Um, Sorry, I don't remember last names, but Liz, who lives in the UK, she can probably give me better information on what's exactly going on in her neck of the woods. Um, I thought I had a viewer, but I'm not 100% positive um, because I can't remember where everybody said they were from. But I have a viewer. I think they're in somewhere in the Netherlands or Switzerland, some other country other than the UK. But if you have any actual information from your local, whether you've heard it personally or you got it from your local uh, news bureau or medical department about what's going on in your neck of woods, I'd like to hear about it. Um, Liz, especially because I know she's from Britain or the UK. I say Britain. I'm sorry. Um, if you would like to put some kind of like comment in the comment box about what's going on in your part of the world, that would be great. In fact, I would love to hear where my viewers are from, so I can at least get a list of areas you guys are from. um, so if you're watching this video, sound off. Give me a location. You don't have to tell me. You don't have to tell me what's going on. You can if you want to, but give me a location. And let me know where you guys are from. That way I can maybe address some of my knowledge for your area, and you can either correct me or whatever. Because I'd love to know where everybody's from. I'm one of those people who've traveled enough different locations throughout my life to understand the differences between America and the UK or America and Europe. Um, I'm not that familiar on Asia, even though I was born in an Asiatic country. I was born in the Philippine Islands on an American airbase because both my parents are American. Mom and dad are both from the U.S. Dad's originally from Illinois. Mom's originally from here in Missouri. I don't remember the exact town, but dad was from Chicago. Um, but my dad's career in the military got me the chance to not only be born over in a foreign country, but be over in Germany for 3 years, as well as Arizona, Utah, Arkansas, Arizona twice, Arkansas, Utah. I was a newborn. Was I born yet when Dad was in Utah? I don't know, um, but I'm a traveler. I like traveling. I like to know about new locations. Um, this is gonna be a little bit longer than normal, but I'm sorry. Um, I had a viewer wanted to know about my adventures in Yosemite. Well, I was not in Yosemite. Sorry, I was in Yellowstone, and I did have some good adventures out there. Being out there in July and having Christmas in July in Yellowstone National Park, fun times. Um, Somebody also said something about cooking because I offered to show cooking some of the things I cook. I don't have a wide repertoire like Jerry Ann can cook a lot of different things. I have a small comfort food type. The two biggest things I've ever cooked, and usually Jerry Ann was basically the assistant or the mixer, I guess you'd say, would be sauerbraten, which actually came from a combination of a quinoa mix, and I have a couple of different recipes on sauerbraten. I've also done beef teriyaki, which is basically just a marinate and broil. But I may be able to do that soon. Unfortunately, the cooking aspects of what I do would be like Those videos, if I do them, or when I can do them, would be like Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, because those are my days off. But like recently, some of you might have heard from Jerry's channel that I did um, chili mac, the way I do it, which half of it is already done. The other half is just ingredients I throw into the can of chili, um, the brown ground beef can of Hormel chili, and just a few other ingredients. Um, some of you might see that video when I do it and go, "What? Why is he doing it that way?" But yeah, Jerry likes it. Mom sometimes, depends on her and depends on how spicy I make it. Um, yes, today does not have a Bible verse attached to it because I didn't skip over it. I just I couldn't get my brain to wrap itself around the story. I will give you the chapter and verse for those of you who want to look it up. As soon as I can find that page, I have it bookmarked, but it's just okay. Yeah, today's Bible study was called "Love and Light," and it comes from Deuteronomy 11:8-15, and just a quick synapse. It had to do with how Moses' time in Egypt. That's all I can remember off the top of my head because my brain it could not wrap itself around today's story. Excuse me. There's also been a flurry, I should say, of discussion that has to do with, I guess, something that somebody saw or somebody is seeing in, I guess, our live streams or some of Jarian's videos. I'm not really going to get in depth in that conversation because, for one, I understand what they're saying. I do see what they're saying, and I am seeing what they're trying to talk about, trying to get across. I would say, for the most part, I understand what you guys are wanting me to do or thinking I should be doing when it comes to certain things. I'm going to table that conversation because it's one of those balancing acts, I guess you'd say. I could be rude about it, but I'm not going to be because it's not one of those things where I need to be rude about it. It's just one of those things where it's like, it's difficult for me to explain to the general populace, and this is probably one of the reasons why I have not sought counseling from a professional, is because the fact that I can have the words and the information and what I want to say up here, but getting it out in a understandable fashion, because there's a lot of information that's lost in the translation, so to speak. And excuse me. Part of the issue, I want to say this much, part of the issue is I don't like confrontation. I really don't like confrontation. Neither does she says. But I'm well, that's the end of that ring. Sorry, I got distracted because I noticed my finger was turning green, and that tells me that this ring that Jerry got me is not a good quality. So I like the ring, but I am not going to wear it if it's going to turn my finger green. That means it has metals that does not agree with my skin. Too bad too, because I liked it. Sorry, I got distracted because the fact of the conversation is one of those conversations that I don't really like having. Which is another reason why I haven't gone to counseling, because of that factor. But I appreciate what you guys are saying, and I appreciate what you guys are trying to do. Don't get me wrong. I appreciate it, just about everything you guys say. And if it's something that I agree with, I do pay attention to. If it's something I don't agree with, I won't pay attention to. But the conversation, please table that conversation. It's like one person said, you're viewing the situation from the outside, and you're not getting the full picture. So unless I could give you a spy camera, I guess you'd say, to view what's going on the inside most of the time, um, it would be an interesting show. The reason why I say that is because one, um, there is drama in the house. There's a lot of different emotions in this house. So it's, let's just say if I was getting paid to do what was that old show they used to do in back in the 80s and 90s? They had this show on MTV. Real World. There we go. The program was called Real World, and it took six 20-something-year-old people. I mean, it took six people who were in their 20s, late teens, early 20s, threw them in a house together, and they had to learn how to live together. They had to learn how to get jobs. They had to learn a lot of stuff. And sometimes I used to watch that show and go, I would love to be on that show. I just don't know why. Is it because of the fact that I like attention? Not always constantly, but yeah, it was one of those one of the first reality TVs that came around, that I liked. Some of these newer reality TV series like Survivor and whatnot, I don't like competition. I don't like competing against people. I don't like being forced in certain situations or things like that. Now, I heard about it through my newsletter from Norway that one of the actors from Game of Thrones and his wife, she does some sort of media type thing. They were thinking about creating a reality TV based on Viking lifestyle, and I just kind of went, "What?" And they were in the newsletter, which is like a digital newspaper more than a newsletter. They were talking about how before the coronavirus struck, that they were looking for people of all ages and characteristics, and basically all the information I read, I just kind of went, "That's me." Crazy hair, balding, missing teeth, kind of chubby, got kind of a gut, and I was just kind of like, eh. But anyhow, I just went off into multiple different directions, and I'm sorry. That's because that's where my brain is right now. It's all over the place, and I wish I could get it to stop. But anyhow, I tried to touch base on a little bit of everything today. So If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you, any questions, comments, or if you would like to let me know where you're from and what's going on in your area, cool. I like that kind of information. If you're new to this channel and you like this video, or you've watched some of my other videos before you've made the decision to join, if you want to join, go ahead and tap that bell. It will let you know when I put in a new video. Yep, that's it. Until next time, God bless and have a good day.